Hey everyone, Dave here for another Blu-ray update video. In this one we'll be taking a look at a couple of brand new releases that have been sent over to me care of sanity.com.au. Couple to take a look at here. Let's get into it. Alright, so we've got a couple of titles here that have been sent over courtesy of sanity.com.au. These have come by way of Universal Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. These are three newish releases at the time that I'm doing this video. A couple of weeks ago these came out. I was waiting for some other stuff to come in to do them all together, but I've kind of actually looked at the schedule and there's not a lot out over the next few weeks. So I'll get these out of the way and get these covered. First up, we'll take a look at this one. Of course, Sanity, head over to sanity.com.au. You can pick up any of these or any great movies and merchandise, all that kind of stuff. First up, we're going to take a look at this one right here. This is Renfield. It, of course, stars Nicholas Hoult in the role of Renfield and Nicolas Cage as Dracula. Awkwafina is in here as well. This is a really sort of genre-bending take on the Dracula mythos. It's a semi-sequel, sort of spoof of the original Universal monster films version of Dracula from the 1930s. It's a movie that I was really looking forward to. I love Dracula. I love Nick Cage. I think he's great. Nicholas Hoult is great. Awkwafina is great. And it's just a movie that I was just kind of really excited to take a look at. Unfortunately, didn't really work for me. It stylistically just feels very weird, very disjointed. He tries to do too many things at once. There are some very laugh-out-loud moments. The action sequences are great, really gory as well. But then it just kind of falls apart a little bit. Nicolas Cage delivers this really weird, wacky, over-the-top performance as Dracula that at times you think, wow, he's doing a really cool job. At other times you just think, man, what are you doing? But then the downside is that he actually doesn't have a lot of screen time. I know it's not called Dracula, it's called Renfield, probably for a reason. He's not actually in it a lot, which I was perhaps a little bit disappointed with. But there you go, Renfield is right now on Blu-ray. There wasn't a 4K release of this here. Interesting thing about this is that this movie was weirdly censored for theatres here in Australia. Don't know why. But apparently when they screened in theatres, it was like a censored version. They cut some of the more gruesome stuff out of it. This version right here is the uncut edition of the movie. So it's I think it went into cinemas as an MA15. It's on home media as the R18. So it's the full uncut version, which you'll be happy to know if you're a fan of the film or you want to check it out for a first time. Next up, we've got SpiderMan Across the SpiderVerse on Blu-ray. This is, of course, the latest SpiderMan film from Sony Pictures Animation. Really terrific movie. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. I really loved Into the Spider-Verse, but not as much as I love this. This is just one of the most beautifully animated, artistic films that I think ever seen. It is really just a really beautiful work of animation, and the story is great as well. It's got a really heartfelt story. Great Spider-Man story, one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made, and really great voice cast and all that stuff. You've seen them. Everyone has seen this movie by now, but it is so wonderful. It pulls up looking very beautiful on Blu-ray. There is a 4K available of this, which didn't get sent over to me, unfortunately, so I will have to go and pick that up at some point myself when I can get a good deal on it or something. But yeah, this would look stunning in 4K. I always say that animation... there's only so much information you can pull out of an animated image. They never really look that much better on 4K when we're talking about like clarity and fine details and stuff, but the colors on this would be stunning in HDR. Very colorful, booming movie. So that would look beautiful, but it looks very nice on Blu-ray as well. But this one right here, we do have one 4K to have a look at, which is Cross of Iron. This is a war film directed by the great Sam Peckinpah. This would have been 70s, 1977, starring some really terrific performers from the time: James Coburn, Maximilian Schell, James Mason, David Warner, and Senta Berger. Just a really kind of hard-hitting war movie that came out in that era. It's kind of a mix between the kind of the artistic sensibilities that you'd imagine from these heavy-hitting late 1970s Western movies. Sam Peckinpah did a lot of great ones. Of course, The Wild Bunch, which was one of the most iconic American Western films ever made. And it just really kind of feels like that kind of movie. It really feels like a war version of I guess, of The Wild Bunch, something like that. Really, really good movie. It's very, very heavy-hitting for its time, very gruesome for its time. In fact, it's got an MA rating. If you look at that, it's got an 18 rating in the UK. So this is a Studio Canal release. This is from their line of Classics Remastered. These always look absolutely beautiful. So this had a really nice remaster. This was released a couple of years ago under the Classics Remastered line, only on Blu-ray. And in fact, Viavision Imprint is releasing a big box set edition of this on 4K in a couple of months' time. I don't know how that's happened, but and I think, in fact, they must have some, obviously they do have some distribution agreement with Studio Canal, because there have been a couple of cases where Studio Canal will put out a disc and then Viavision or Imprint does like a big box set. Anyway, if you can't shell out all the money that Imprint, Viavision is charging, it's probably, as I'd say, it's over $100, if not very close to $100 for their big expensive box set, which I think might have 2 or 3 different cuts of the movie in it. If you can't afford that, this is a very decent kind of alternative if you just want, you know, $25-$30, however much this costs. It has got 2 discs, and I'm not sure if it's, I think it's only got 1 version of the movie on there, but it's got a bunch of really great bonus features and stuff, and of course a second disc full of bonus features too that weren't included in the original Blu-ray release of that. But anyway, there are the 3 releases that were sent over recently from Universal Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, thanks to Sanity. Of course, head over to sanity.com.au to pick up any of these titles or more. Thanks to everybody organised in sending these over. And thanks to everybody out there for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, take it easy.